So lasers have been improving on a pretty rapid pace over the past few years, especially when we talk about diode machines. But in the past, it's kind of been hard to recommend those to everybody for one big reason, and that is safety. But now we're starting to see a generation of machines that really are getting into a sweet spot. And one of the standout companies, as well as machines in that group, is from Roly Automation, which is what I have right here, LaserMATIC Mark II. And we're gonna put it up against the competition to see if this is something that you might want to get. All right, let's jump into it. In disclosure, Roly Automation was nice enough to send me this machine for review. They have no input on this review whatsoever. So if you like it, get it. I just want to give you my honest opinion about this machine so you can make the best purchase for you. So this is the Mark II version. So there was a Mark I version. Roly is a pretty new-ish company from what I can tell. I think they started in about 2022. Even their Mark I version was really nice. You can tell they have been watching the development of all these open gantry style diode machines, but this guy, their Mark II version, is really impressive, and they're starting to put together a really nice entire package. And probably the biggest element of that is the fact this is a full enclosure. And this isn't just like a box you put over an existing gantry style machine, but this is like fully integrated into the machine's design. So actually the linear rails and the stepper motors are built into the frame itself. So this feels a lot more robust and not like quite as janky as you might see with some of the other enclosures you might put on a machine you've already got. And for lasers in general, enclosures are a great idea. One of the big things is you can exhaust the fumes out the back. It's got like a low powered fan on the back, but then it's got some ducting that you can take this outside. Another nice thing about this enclosure that's specific to diodes is this acrylic or plastic is tinted, and that's going to protect your eyes from the light that is coming out of the diode. Always in the past, I've recommended not running these machines around people that may not know that you need to be wearing safety glasses while it's running, especially if this is around kids. But because of this, with this being fully enclosed, you don't have to worry about that as much. And like most machines with enclosures, it's got the great safety feature where there are a few switches that will trigger if you open this up, and it'll cut the power to the machine. Another thing about the lid that is great is the fact you've got pass-through. So this piece right here can unscrew, so then you can put in material that is bigger than the work bed itself, as well as a panel on the back, so you can get material that is a good bit bigger than the machine itself to be able to laser engrave. And speaking of work area, it's pretty standard to what you find in most other machines. It's 410 by 390 millimeters, and usually you're going to be around the 400 by 400 millimeter range for these machines. And then the last thing about the enclosure that is great is the fact that you also have an integrated camera. And so this is the camera right here, and it's definitely well thought out. So you've got all the cable management contained and inside the frame, and it's coming out the side. And so you set this up just like any other webcam that you would use with Lightburn. And really the only drawback with that means that the camera is going to be a different connection than the machine itself. Just know you're going to have two different connections to be able to get all of this machine hooked up. Now you definitely can use the machine without the camera. Camera's just a nice feature that gives you an overlay of your work area inside of Lightburn. So if you're trying to position artwork or cut things out of material that's already been cut out of, so you're trying to find like the empty space, it's really great at doing that. But just like with any laser, you pretty much have the standard positioning abilities where you can basically trace an outline of what you're about to cut out. And for diode machines like this, it's actually going to use a low power setting on the laser itself. And because this is visible light, you'll be able to see it trace around. And just on the construction and the quality of the overall assembly itself, honestly, this might be the nicest one that I have checked out. You've got linear rails for all of the movement, and the cable management is super nice. It's all contained in single runs with all the wires put together, something you might see more on a CNC versus just a standard diode. I know from testing a ton of machines like these in the past, having kind of the cables all over the place has always been really annoying. You've got an all metal frame with a polycarbonate lid as well as sides, but then even the base is metal as well. And that's something if you're just getting into lasers, you might not even notice, because with open gantry machines, a lot of times there's pretty much like nothing under it. So if you're firing your laser through the material, whatever's below your laser is going to get cut up. So I definitely have cut up workbenches in the past. A lot of times those manufacturers will give you like metal plates that you put underneath, but you still kind of have to move it and adjust it, and it can be a little bit annoying. With this, you don't have that. And speaking of moving and adjusting, a super nice quality of life improvement that pretty much no other machine has is the fact that it has a honeycomb bed that is removable. And the honeycomb bed itself isn't unique, but what it has on the other side is you actually have holes. And so you've got 4 posts inside of the base of the machine. And so when you put the honeycomb bed in, this will not move relative to the machine. It probably looks like it's wobbling. That's just because like my work table is pretty janky. But why that really matters to you is if you're doing a project that requires like multiple layers. So it's gonna have to do multiple layers of cuts on the same piece of material. I definitely have bumped my honeycomb bed and then everything just gets off regardless of where the position of the machine is. So having all that locked down is great. And that's also great because you can have predefined positions inside of Lightburn. So maybe you have a fixture or something that is set up to where you're just doing the same thing over and over again, like maybe just a ton of business cards or ornaments or whatever that you guys are cutting out. You can have all that set up inside of the software. And because this is locked to the exact same position every time, you know, when you put your material in there, you're good to go. And I don't currently have it, but Roly actually makes a fixture jig, which is just a metal plate with a bunch of different holes. And then you're able to put like pins and bars and stuff to be able to position material in different locations. Okay, so let's talk about the laser itself. This is a manual focus laser, so there is a knob on the top and you just screw this up and screw this down. And in terms of focus, they give you this, which actually gives you 3 different positions to be able to focus. And it's really easy to use. You just put it down and then screw this in. Now, one improvement in the future that would be nice with this is some type of autofocus. I know the Xtool S1 as well as the We Create Vision has autofocus built in, but just turning the knob to move the Z-axis up and down is not hard whatsoever and pretty easy to do. Now, some other open style gantry machines, like the Xtool D1, actually has a lever built into the laser module itself. And when that is down, you're able to drop it down and find focus. And that's real nice to have it integrated into the module because you're not going to lose it, but it's also nice having something to where you have a few different focus settings, because since the laser beam only comes to a fine focus for a certain distance, you do want to drop this deeper than just the surface if you're cutting through thicker material. Now, if they do have autofocus built into this in the future, they can do things like nicer CO2 machines even do, where when you're cutting through thick material, it'll do multiple passes and it'll slowly drop the laser beam down with each pass. You get each cut as in focus as possible. Now, a feature that is starting to be a little bit more common is how they are messing around with the wattage. So Roly gives you 3 different options in terms of power for the laser itself. So you can buy a 10 watt, a 20 watt, or a 30 watt option. This is the 20 watt. And what's nice about it is it gives you the option of jumping down to a 10 watt. And all these companies are pretty much doing it the same way. To get higher and higher laser power, you're adding more laser diodes into the module itself. So usually those diodes are around 5 watts. So to get to 20 watts, you need to have 4 laser diodes. And all those are combined together and they shoot out through the lens. And if you want to do 10 watts, you just turn half of those off with this switch right here. Now you might be wondering, like, why would you ever want to do 10 watts when you always want to use the most power? And it all depends on the type of stuff that you're wanting to do. Because as you combine more and more of those laser diodes together, the laser dot size, so physically like how big that laser dot is when it is engraving or cutting, is going to get bigger. So 10 watts is usually a really nice wattage for these diode machines if you're going to be doing fine engravings. And then obviously as you add more power, that's going to be better for cutting. Now this connects just with like 4 screws. So it seems pretty easy to be able to upgrade this machine to a higher wattage in the future, because I can definitely see them making even bigger modules like 40 watts. That kind of seems to be the top end, at least currently with these style machines. And if 10 watts is all you need, you definitely can just get the 10 watt option and then save a little bit of money. Now, another big thing that these open gantry laser diode machines didn't have at the very beginning was any type of air assist. And all air assist is just a compressed stream of air coming out right where the laser nozzle is. And that's great to give you nicer cuts, but it's also a really nice safety feature because if there are any flare-ups, you've got that air putting it out as it goes. And slowly manufacturers have started to add air assist to their machines. But a lot of times this is a little bit of an afterthought, meaning that you have to turn the air assist pump on whenever you're going to be able to do cutting. But Lightburn is great because they have air assist settings built in. So Lightburn can send custom commands to the machine to tell it to turn it on and tell it to turn it off. And Roly has incorporated that into their design. So this pump is wired directly into the brains. There's actually a little air port on the side for the electronics to where it's able to capture that signal. And then you have the actual air tube itself on the back, sending that air into the machine. And on the setup side of things, this is very easy to get going. It pretty much comes fully assembled. You just take it out of the box. You hook up your laser module, which literally is a power cable, a hose, and 4 screws, plug in your air pump on the back, and you're good to go. So you're like up and running in like 15 minutes, because pretty much the entire machine is pre-assembled for you. Now, we've been talking about how you control the machine, and that is through Lightburn, and they give you kind of the standard option. You can connect it over USB. There's also a Wi-Fi antenna on the side. Then you can also upload your jobs to an SD card and then run it from here. Now, when I say control this wirelessly, I don't mean you have to go to the internet to do it. So like with Glowforge, where all their software lives in the cloud, you have to connect to the cloud, which then connects to the machine to run it. Some people like that because it makes it super easy, but then a lot of people don't like that because what happens if the cloud just stops working and they don't let you have access to your machine? All this is a wireless connection to your local network that doesn't even need to be on the internet, so that's great if you want to use it as well. Now, one thing I don't have set up that they also offer with this Mark II version is a rotary, and the connection for the rotary, again, is integrated into the machine itself, so they make it super easy. So if you are wanting to do tumblers or pretty much anything that is round, you've got the ability to do that with this machine. So overall, what are my impressions of this machine? This is very, very nice, and it definitely stands apart from any machine that you can get that is open gantry, meaning it doesn't have an enclosure. But we are starting to see more of these machines. In fact, let's check out some of its competitions. And actually, if you want to check out this chart yourself, which includes all of the machines either I've reviewed or checked out in the past with a lot of the different characteristics like power, price, pros and cons, all that kind of stuff, there is a link in the description for you to check out, and then you can filter it however you want. All right, so let's look at the competition. And there's really two that are in the same range. The WeCreate Vision, which I've done a few videos of in the past, as well as the Xtool S1, which is their enclosed gantry style machine. And in terms of price, we're kind of in the $1,000 to $2,000 range. One thing you do want to make sure that is the same when you're comparing these is the power, because most of these machines you can buy in different power configurations. So in this case, we've got 20 watts for the WeCreate Vision at 1500. The Xtool S1, this is at 40 watts, so twice the power of this machine as well at 2000. And then we've got the LaserMATIC Mark II for 20 watts at $1,100. And on the Xtool S1, if you look at the 20 watt, is $1,699, so $1,700. So still a good bit more. As we're kind of scrolling over, these are pretty much the main differences that I'm finding with these machines. One is the integration of a camera. Notably, the Xtool S1 does not have a camera that is built into it. That's probably the biggest drawback that I've seen from that machine so far. WeCreate Vision does. Then the focus is also another big thing, because pretty much with all these machines, other than the Atom Stack A24 Pro, which is like packaged together with an enclosure, all that focus is going to be autofocus. So if you don't want to play around with focus whatsoever, those other ones could be a good option. You can also see that I have Glowforge thrown in here. So they're Glowforge Aura. This isn't the CO2 machine you've probably seen in the past. This is something totally new they came out with last year. It's only 6 watts, but it is more expensive at 1200. And Glowforge is kind of its own category because you're in their entire ecosystem. Like we talked about before, you've got to use their software that is all cloud-based. And if we come over to the software side of things, pretty much all of these can use Lightburn, which is like the gold standard in terms of laser control software currently. This is what I love to use. But also you can do Laser Gerbil, which is a free option. And then on the Xtool side of things, they also have their own software that really has come a long way. And if you don't want to get into all of like the details and the craziness of Lightburn, it can definitely get the job done. And in the same vein, WeCreate also has their own software, which also looks pretty similar to what Xtool has. On the work area side of things, this could be a deal breaker depending on the type of stuff that you're trying to do. The Xtool S1 shape is a little bit different than all these other ones. Most of the times the work beds are square, so again around that 400 by 400 millimeters, but the S1 goes pretty much 500 by 300, so more of a rectangle. Now, one pro I would throw towards Xtool is just the fact they've been around a little bit longer, meaning they have the open gantry style machine, this Xtool D1 Pro, the Xtool M1, which is like a Cricut built into a diode machine, the F1, which can do metal, the S1 that we're talking about, and then the P2, which is their big desktop CO2 Glowforge competitor style machine. So they've got a little bit more experience. There's going to be a little bit more support, a little bit more community built around it. And then on the WeCreate side of things, kind of the drawback with them is they are very, very new. So this is their first machine. But I think overall they've done an excellent job with it. It's got a really cool like lifting mechanism to be able to do focus, which is just fun to use. A few others that are also on this list is the Snapmaker Ray 40, which if you're familiar with Snapmaker, it's like the 3-in-1 3D printer, CNC, and laser. And basically the Ray 40 is like if you flip that down, so imagine a 3D printer that goes to the floor, that one also is going to be a good bit more expensive expensive, but their software is really nice. But in general, Snapmaker, just their product design is really nice, very well put together, probably even a step over the LaserMATIC. Then one I wanted to throw in here just because this is pretty wild is iKeer, which has come up a lot more recently. They have a lot of open gantry style machines, but they also have an enclosed machine that is the most expensive, so $2,300. But I haven't tested this, so I don't know how this works, but they're saying this is 70 watts, and this is output power. So I'm guessing that's like 14 laser diodes versus this guy, which is 4. But again, this guy is much, much more expensive. And then one other option for you, if you wanted to go the open gantry style, but then put an enclosure on top of it, the Atom Stack A24, which is pretty much a direct competitor to the Xtool D1. But then you can get this, they're calling it the B3 enclosure, which is just a box that goes on top that also has a camera integrated as well as a fan on the back. But again, that's going to be different than this, which is all integrated into one unit. This is basically two different things you're kind of stacking on top of each other. And then one other thing I like to watch, especially when I get into the CO2 side of things, is the speed. And you can see pretty much all of them except for the iKeer are in the 500 to 600 range. So how fast you're going to get something done isn't going to be limited by how fast the machine can move, but more limited by the power of the diode itself. So normally if you have more power, you're going to be able to run things faster, whether you are engraving or cutting things out. Now this machine is actually the one you guys have mentioned the most in my comments, saying that I should check it out. So I'd love to know if there's something that I missed that you also love about this machine. And in general, I would love to know what you guys would pick between this and the competition. All right, until next time, go make or break something in your shop. See you guys.